Hit the deck, first to the floor, making every big play for the Celtics today. Tatum knocks it away, trying to get it done. What a play by Big Tower. Watch him die for the ball right here. Look at this hustle.
Welcome into another episode of First to the Floor. Ben Vallis here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. The sixth-ish Boston Celtics annual award show is coming up in about 5 or 10 minutes. But first, we would be remiss not to discuss all the play-in action of the past 24 hours. Wayne Spooney and Jake Eisenberg are joining me to do just that. How's it going, guys? Welcome.
Living the dream, dude. Play in basketball. What's better than that?
Just touching wood. Things are looking good. If I was going to say
Ryman
myself,
out of the fucking building.
I know, yeah, great start. Things are looking good, though. Things have broken so far, touch wood, the way of the Celtics, in that the Sixers, they beat the Miami Heat. The Heat lose in kind of surprising fashion because it was a dog's breakfast of a game to begin with, Spoonie. I do believe, maybe we could start here. We've got a clip from the playback of you guys reacting to one Tobias Harris. Let's kick off with this one.
Yeah.
come on, cook him.
It's a nice move.
You got Tobias?
Big boy.
Oh, you're kidding. You're kidding.
Anyway, the Sixers going to win that game despite that display from Tobias Harris. And then obviously Jimmy Butler with the MCL injury, he's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks here, which makes things interesting for this next play-in game and what happens next for the Celtics round one opponent. So guys, just general takeaways from this game before we get into the awards.
Dog shit.
Yeah, disgusting. Like one of the most disgusting games I've seen. Like all the other play-in games were like normal basketball games, and unsurprisingly, the Devil Miami Heat turn the 76ers, who had won 8 games in a row, into like CTE ball. Like Maxey, worst game he's had in a month. Embiid, who's looked good, they completely just reverted him to all of the bad habits. And we were like, okay, well, it's like, is this actually good? We kind of changed our minds throughout the game several times. Like, okay, maybe if this is what the Sixers look like, this is who we want. And then the Sixers did figure it out, like in the second half. I'm like, no, I think we actually do want the Heat. If you can just like repel the magic for a little bit, there's only so much damage they can really do. And then, I mean, you never want to see injuries, but Jimmy Butler, then the Heat losing, and then Jimmy Butler's being injured as they fall into the 8 seed play-in game. I mean, it's tough to see.
Yeah, so look, if the Heat had a good coach, they would have taken him out of the zone after Philly figured it out in the second half. Joe Mazzulla haters, take note. Even the best coach in the league sometimes just has absolutely no answers. But good God, that was horrible, terrible, disgusting basketball. But that's what the Heat do to people. They do it to everyone. They can't score, and they junk you up. And I mean, yeah, I'm not even sure what we watched. Like that Tobias Harris clip is like just like uncut, raw Sixers Heat play-in game right there. That's basically what that entire game was like. It was so bad, so terrible. And I'm not scared of either of those teams, but it's not going to matter because we're playing the Bulls. I called it weeks ago when we did Lizard Brain Takes. I was like, we are playing the Bulls. I've been on that. I like that Bulls team. They're pretty good. They can actually score, unlike the Heat. So I just like, I don't know, like is Embiid, like he looked exhausted like in the first quarter. I mean, he was like barely running up and down the court. And then Butler's, he was hurt. He's going to be hurt. So the Heat have basically nothing without Jimmy Butler. Bam took 9 shots, which is just ridiculous in a do-or-die game. Your other all-star takes 9 shots. So, yeah, things are breaking pretty nicely. And I actually would rather play the Bulls than the Heat, even though the Heat looked terrible, which is, devil magic.
I agree. I kept toing and froing on who my preferred matchup would be throughout the game. Like both teams took so many turns at looking like absolute dog shit that I continued to change my mind But if it does end up being the Heat, it looks like we're probably getting the lesser healthy of those two teams. And obviously that's advantage Celtics in that particular case, as much as we don't wish injury upon anyone, including people from the Miami Heat, as much as we hate them. It's really unfortunate to see that from Jimmy Butler's perspective. But obviously that falls into the advantage of the Celtics in that we get a lesser healthy of those two teams. But it looks like Caruso, he's going to be back for the Bulls, who beat the Hawks again yesterday in Game 2 of those playing games. The Bulls at this stage look like the stronger of the two teams with Butler injured.
I just want to say it's important to note as well. So where the Sixers game turned was they have the promotion for the free chicken. If you miss two free, they call it brickin' for chicken, and this is very important. Caleb Martin is at the free throw line. He misses 2 free throws, and I shit you not, that completely changed the game. The crowd was booing the team. The fans had turned on the team. This is what happens in Philly. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The players are scared. They play scared. They play bad. The fans are scared. They start booing. That leads to the players being more scared. And that's what was happening. Caleb Martin bricks 2 free throws. Crowd goes nuts. Sixers go on a run. And then French Al Horford or French Derek White goes nuts for the rest of the game. Nicholas Batum. When I was watching the Sixers stream afterwards, I actually went back and watched the whole game on the Uniball stream because I had to just go through all the emotions with them. And Sam Sheehan, Celtics Twitter guy, was like, he's French Al Horford, and all the Sixers people were like, no, he can't be French Al Horford because he was so bad for us. We'll accept French Derek White. There's just so many subplots here. But yeah, that's what happens when you make a deal with the devil, Caleb Martin and Pat Riley. It comes back to bite you eventually.
You do have to pay that debt back eventually. Yes. But just a wild game of subpar play-in basketball where none of the 4 teams looked particularly good. And if you're a Celtics fan or the Celtics themselves, you're sitting back feeling pretty good about who the eventual first-round matchup might be. Now, we do have a live podcast coming up with Dan Greenberg, a.k.a. Still Greeny of Barstool Sports, Saturday night live here on YouTube at 8 p.m. East, where we'll be previewing what will finally then be the eventuated first-round matchup. We'll finally know, but I guess what we're saying here is that the Celtics are going to be likely supremely better than whoever they end up facing in that first round from what's been on display from this play-in tournament so far. Anything else from the playing games, guys, that you want to get to before we get into these awards?
So can I just say real quick on the Jimmy Butler injury? That's why you avoid the play-in game, because shit happens when you play extra games, as there was a double Jake in there real quick.
Multi-Jake.
Should I just log out? We'll get 2 Jakes in here. Yeah.
No.
But that's why you want to avoid the play-in game. That's why the regular season matters. You dick around, Butler plays 50-something games or whatever. They don't give a shit for the regular season. We'll just sneak our way into the 7 or 8 seed. It's not a big deal. Well, guess what? You play an extra game, Jimmy Butler gets hurt, and your season's probably over. So, that's why it matters. That's why you should try. And that's why you should win the conference by 14 games.
Easy, dude.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked the odds recently, in the last few hours, but I think that Knicks Sixers has opened up as pretty much a pick 'em. They're both close to 50-50 odds there. I'm picking the Knicks all day on that one, just based alone on how dodgy Joel Embiid's knee looked and his conditioning looked in that first game. You don't really anticipate getting any better on that front in the next week or so. Going up against the Knicks team where essentially all their starters are going to be playing 48 minutes apiece and just going hardcore at Joel Embiid, Brunson and Mitchell Robinson pick and roll, just put Joel Embiid in that action all night and just exhaust the shit out of him. It seems like an obvious approach and it will be to the detriment of the Sixers, in my opinion. Who are you guys picking in that series?
Yeah, Jack Simone, friend of the pod here, about them Celtics, is freaking out about the Sixers being favored here. I don't think it's crazy, dude. Jalen Brunson, great season, gonna win first team All-NBA over Jason Tatum, it looks like, and it's gonna be an abomination. The gap in the best player in that series, I get Embiid didn't look awesome there. The Knicks just smell to me like the regular season team really, really badly. Nick Nurse, I think if you just cook up a scheme to slow down Brunson for a playoff series, I think you can, they have no other creation outside of him. And that's where you start to miss Randall. And I don't know, man. I'm probably going to lean Sixers. The 2 days off between games, a couple of the games, like 2 days off between that game against the Heat and game one, like there's a chance he just kind of gets stronger as time goes along as well.
Didn't he have 6 games off after playing, was it Orlando? It's not like that time did him particularly well. Sorry to cut you off, Spoonie, but like in the short term, last couple of weeks, it's not like the rest has done Embiid any good.
He was good in the fourth quarter. Just saying.
That's true. He was.
He was good in the fourth quarter. He made some threes, which is like you can kind of do that a little bit tired, but he's looked like pretty good other than the play-in game. I think that was by far his worst game since he's come back, and it's against Miami. Like that's what they do to star players. That's what happens. Like I don't think the Knicks can really do that to them. So Jake put in, check this out on our Discord. Jake put in like a bracket picker.
Oh yeah.
I have I think Knicks in 7. I think it's going to be a really tight series. But if Embiid was like 100% healthy, I think it's Sixers in a wash. But because he is not, I do think the Knicks have the slight advantage. But it being a pick'em does not surprise me at all. Like the Knicks are the most try-hard regular season team we've ever witnessed. Like the difference between their half-court offense and their total offense is the largest in the league, right? So their transition, turning you over, offensive rebound, all the bullshit that doesn't translate to the playoffs is what the Knicks do. They play their starters 40 minutes a night. Other teams will finally start doing that in the playoffs. So that advantage is gone. They play harder than everybody else. That advantage is gone in the playoffs. So I do think that their ceiling is not nearly as high as the Sixers. But like Embiid, dude, he was like waltzing up the court at times in a do or die play-in game when you want to avoid the Celtics. So like he's obviously not got it 100%. So I do think the Knicks will win, but I think it's going to be much closer than our friend Jack Simone thinks.
I don't know how many all-time Nicholas Batum games the Sixers are going to get in this first round series against the
Also
Knicks.
true.
He's good.
Knicks are more than capable of shutting them. Yeah, he's good.
He's so underrated, dude. I was reading Mavs Twitter, and they were after like as they were watching the game because like they had those Clippers series, Mavs Clippers, and they were like legitimately like. People don't understand that Nick Batum not being in this matchup is a really big deal. It's like, okay, I think he's one of those guys that like you don't know until you know. So
I guess so. I mean, we'll see.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's going to be more Nick Batum games to come. You heard it here.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to seeing that and whatever else eventuates in the first round. And meanwhile, the Celtics successfully on the other side of the bracket there from the Sixers. But we'll talk more about that and that first round matchup with Greeny in a couple of nights' time. Again, live Saturday night, 8 p.m. here on our YouTube channel, the First of the Floor YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to. If you're watching over there on the very awesome CLNS YouTube channels, hop over here, First of the Floor, like, subscribe, then hop back to CLNS, like, subscribe over there as well. Very thankful to the CLNS network for presenting this show. All right, guys, let's get into the awards. That's right. It's that time of year again. It's time for the 6th annual First of the Floor Boston Celtics Awards. Thanks to everyone who voted on the awards this year, especially everyone in our Discord, which if you want to join, the links are in the description below, along with various other ways you can support the show or become more involved with the First of the Floor podcast. Now, obviously, the outcome of these awards can sway the probability of a player's Hall of Fame eligibility along with their overall prestige of their legacy. So this is really important stuff. Jake, Spoonie, any opening thoughts on the awards before we get going?
I think everybody that was nominated should go home feeling proud, and everybody that wasn't nominated should go home feeling proud. Like this is tough to crack these awards. Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win, how many Oscars for some incredible films, and eventually he snuck in for Revenant. So I would just suggest to all contestants to not feel too bad if they don't go home with anything.
Yeah, hey, look, it's award season in basketball, and these are by far the most important awards in NBA award season. So,
that's right.
Look, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy it. I'm sorry for the losers. It took Scorsese a long time, too. That's right. But yeah, let's get into it.
Well, let's start off. We've got the Avery Bradley Award for Most Improved Player, the nominees for which are Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. And without any further ado, let's announce the winner here. the winner of this very prestigious award, as I scroll and look for the video, is... It's Peyton Pritchard. Woo! Congratulations, Peyton Pritchard, as he approaches the stage. He won by a massive amount, getting 58.1% of the votes for most improved player, and quite an improvement on last season, plus 9 minutes per game. We went from 5.6 to 9.6 points per game. 3-point accuracy is up. Assists per game are up. Rebounds, steals are up. Turnovers down. His net rating, guys, went from plus 1.4 to plus 13.6, and his assist to turnover ratio went from 1.6 to 4.6, all within the breadth of a single season. An incredible MIP and well-worthy MIP award there for Peyton Pritchard, guys.
I just want to note we had nearly 200 responses for these awards. So firstly, shout out everybody that voted.
Good call.
I mean, a landslide in how many votes we've had in years past, I'm guessing. And so, yeah, Peyton Pritchard takes home 58% of the vote here. I mean, you can't go wrong with Peyton Pritchard. Not my vote, but yeah, Peyton took an obviously kind of across the board here. The playmaking was something that I didn't quite see coming. He didn't even have an awesome shooting season, which I think speaks to how much he actually did improve, because, you know, he was below 40% on the year. And if you were to tell me that before the season, I would have said that's actually kind of a disappointing season for Pritchard from what we're expecting. But he improved playmaking, shot creation, defensively, rebounding, across the board, just overall impact, confidence. Shout out Little P.
Yeah, I mean, like, so this is not a maxi MIP candidacy where it's like, hey, he just got more shots, he just got more opportunities, he just got more minutes. Like, this is legitimate improvement. He got more minutes, he got more shots, but his assist to turnover ratio, career high. His assist percentage, second best ever. His rebounding percentage, because he's a sneaky little rebounder, like, that's his best ever. So not only did he like get more minutes, but everything scaled up with him and improved. Career high in true shooting percentage. Massive Peyton Pritchard season.
Welcome, Mary. What an entrance,
Mary. Like he just added dimensions to his game, which I think is the important thing. It's like skill improvement more than just the stats. Like, he just looked a lot more comfortable driving to the rim, finishing around the rim, gnashing, making plays, operating the offense, and the shooting. Yeah, you're right, Jake. Like, he wasn't shooting lights out over 40%, but 38.5% on some of the threes he takes is very, very good. So he's got the shooting weapon. You got to defend him for that, and he uses that as a tool to get himself into the paint. And dude, he's had some highlights, man. He's saucing people. Like, he took Patrick Baldwin's lunch money in that Wizards game with those crossovers and that spin move to the layup. So shout out PP, great season.
We'll always have March and April PP. What an incredible stretch of the season, and keeping us locked in, engaged, and entertained after everything was well and truly wrapped up. As we move on to the Jordan Crawford MVP Award, the nominees for which are Jason Tatum, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, and Jaylen Brown. The winner is... It's Jason Tatum. Congratulations, Jason Tatum, as he approaches the stage to collect the 6th annual Jordan Crawford MVP Award.
McConaughey's there.
Nick Cage is there. Oh, it's a who's who of first to the floor. 6th annual Boston Celtics Awards. Really, what a time to be alive as I try and kill this graphic here, guys. Jason Tatum, obvious choice, best player on the best team. But I guess I'll ask you, Spoonie, with such a stacked roster, how does one manage to stand out as the MVP across so much talent?
I don't know, average 27, 8, and 5 on like a plus true shooting percentage, and elite defense is a pretty good start, in my opinion. Something Jalen Brunson has not done this year. Yeah, I'm just picking a name out of a hat, another all-star out of a hat. Like, maybe, elite defense probably fucking matters, but hey, who am I to say? But look, we solved the Jason Tatum sitting on the bench problem this year. We still had a massive net rating when he was on the bench, finally, for once. But guess what? He still made us about 3 points per 100 possessions better when he was on the court. So, like, you take a stacked roster and then you add him, and he makes it even better. He is a floor raiser. He is a ceiling raiser. He is not bad at anything. and he is great at just about everything in basketball. And that is the makings of a superstar. And the three came back. He shot 37.5% from three, man, after we were flirting around with like the high 35s and stuff like that. The pull-up came back. He had an awesome season. I think the most important thing for me is he understood how good his team was, and he was willing to take a little step back in usage and field goal attempts. Just a little bit. And and really play the best team basketball of his entire career, deserving MVP. I don't think there was any choice here, really. Any other choice.
Yeah, I'm proud of the voters for this one. Like, I understand wanting to maybe go a different direction, but when it comes down to it, Tatum's still the guy. And I think on this run, we're going to see why he is that guy. And he's been incredible all year long. I thought it was easily the best. It's crazy. It was easily the best year of his career for me. Like, the fact that 3-point shooting came back would have been like very high on our list of things we wanted to see. The 3-point volume was still there. The pull-up came back. The decision-making, though, assists up, turnovers down. Like, that is something that's really important going into the playoffs. It's like, can you control what you can control in the playoffs, and limiting turnovers and making sure teams like someone like the Heat or the Magic or the Bulls that have issues scoring the basketball in the half court against an elite defense, if you're not turning the ball over, which Tatum's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, playing 40-plus minutes, he's making the right decisions, making the right play, getting off the ball, letting the ball come back to him. Really important. I thought, just like, to quote the great Ben Vallis, just a captain's knock all year long, leading from top to bottom.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. A real captain's knock of a season there for Jason Tatum. And adding the post-ups to his game, it's like adding a new stroke to your cricket batsman repertoire, adding a nice cover drive to the repertoire there.
That's right.
The post-ups,
I always
obviously
say that.
Yeah, Spoonie's always in my ear about the cricketing references there, so good to finally bring that onto the show. A consummate vibesman, I'll say, really leading the pack in that sense. You guys have kind of covered all of the on-the-court stuff, but just really a leader on and off the court on all fronts, and basically becoming a face of the NBA as well, just with his personality on and off the court too. He leads the team in usage rate, 31.1%. His assist percentage is in the 91st percentile league-wide. Defensive rebounding percentage per cleaning the glass in the 94th percentile. And yeah, you guys said it. You said it earlier, Spoonie. We did a wish list podcast ahead of the season, and one of my wishes was, could Jason Tatum get his three-point shooting up around that 97 to 98% mark, and he got his pull-up threes alone up to 37.2%, and overall three-point shooting again per cleaning the glass up to 38%. I think it was down around 34% last year. So getting it up to that level and holding it there for the second half of the season bodes extremely well heading into the playoffs as well. So, and I would also add that he's one of the better defensive players on the team as well, which does segue nicely into the next award, the Cobra Strike Depoy Award, the nominees for which are Jason Tatum, Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and Drew Holiday. Folks in the chat, let us know who you think is most deserving for this award. Who's going to be the winner? Drum roll, please. It is Derek White. Derek White is the winner. We do not have a fancy video for this one. We do have a little soundbite, though. There we go. Derek White, the winner by a huge margin, got 64.2% of the votes. Probably an easy winner of this award, although there are many worthy candidates, which is what has made this team so dominant throughout the season, guys. But Derek White, 100th percentile at his position in block percentage, which is probably a good way to kick off the conversation. I close my eyes and see Derek White, trailing a pick and roll ball handler and getting up over the top of them and clipping the ball off their hands before they get the shot off multiple times per game. He is an amazing person. He is an amazing basketball player, and specifically, he is an amazing defender, Jake. He's done it. Mr. White, we'll send you this clip in the mail here, but it's great award, the Cobra Strike Depoy Award, obviously in memory of Marcus Smart here, and no one quite Cobra strikes in the same way that Marcus Smart does. But, obviously, depending on the interpretation of this award, who is the best defender, I try to take it literally here. And Derek White, actually was third on the team in steals. Jaylen with 83 steals, Tatum with 75, Derek with 74, Drew with 61. But Derek White, 87 blocks, which is 16th in the NBA.
total.
That's absurd.
Yeah. Yes. Total blocks. Absurd. Isaiah Hartenstein, Ivica Zubac, Jared Allen, Nurkic, Giannis, Jakob Poeltl, Evan Mobley, Jonathan Isaac, like Bam Adebayo, Embiid. Like those are all players that Derek White had more blocks than this year, which are absolutely absurd. And Spoony, I'll let you go, but I've got a couple of my favorite Derek White block moments to run after you.
All right.
Sweet.
Well, I'm not gonna make a very good intro into that video because I voted for Drew Holiday.
Oh,
Yeah, and the reason I did is because I think he was asked to do more difficult things than Derek White was. Derek White was basically always on the point guard, which he's great at, and we should be deploying him in that way. But Holiday, when we went zone, was at the center of that zone, basically acting like the quarterback. There was times he was guarding Embiid and did a really good job. There was times he was guarding, well, he got smoked by SGA, but everybody did other than Tatum. But he just, I think Drew Holiday defended a larger variety of players, and I think there's a lot of value to that, and he did a really good job. But obviously, Derek White's amazing. He would have been my second pick. And like the lock and trail, like getting around screens, he doesn't miss a switch. Like he does not ever blow a switch, Derek White. And that is so valuable. And it's stuff like it's hard to see when you're watching the game and then you go back and like watch clips or, we do our underrated plays and it's like always Derek White like pointing and he's just never in the wrong. And that's super valuable to have guys who are not only amazing on ball, but incredible off ball. So Derek White, great defender, but I did vote for Drew Holiday. But,
Spoiled for choice, really. Like you could have easily voted for
True.
KP as well in his rim defense all season. Yeah, or Tatum, absolutely.
Well,
who I just said is probably like maybe secretly, quietly the best overall defender on the team, just in terms of his versatility.
well, interestingly, so Derek White gets 64% of the vote here. The next closest, Jaylen Brown, 15.3%, and then Drew Holiday at 13%. And Kristaps at 5.8 and Tatum at 1.5% here. And I wonder if that's partly is that's the Cobra Strike element of the award. Is he's not really a Cobra Strike type guy. I would actually say he's like a very drowsy when it comes to the Cobra Strike type maneuvers. Not really his forte. But yeah, quite an interesting breakdown. I thought because none of us really mentioned Jaylen. I do think maybe, and going back to the most improved thing, like Jaylen was my vote. And the defense was a massive part of that. His best defensive season of his career. But I still think a very wide gap relative to what Derek White and Drew Holiday give you defensively compared to their position.
Yeah, maybe if we introduced a defensive MIP award, that's something that Jalen might be able to get up for next year. But yeah, you have me thinking that maybe we should share our awards results after the show is done so everyone can get in there and see how close some of the votes were and just how much some people ran away with these awards. Look, we've got plenty more awards to get to, but first...
Hang on. Last bit.
Oh, you want to play this clip?
Yeah, Derek White blocks. Enjoy this 41 seconds of my two favorite Derek White moments of the season.
Tatum dribbled it off a foot. Nice pass ahead. And O'Neal shot blocked by White.
Derek White block, hustles back on defense. Don't even know how he got to that as Royce O'Neal tried to go back.
Struggles to hold on to the win. Long outlet for Butler. Swatted by White. Up the grabs. Adebayo brings it down. Butler rejected Derek White, the first guy there. Adebayo beats the shot clock. Brown may have gotten away with a push-off, and Adebayo gets it from behind. Here comes Butler the other way. Nice. And White blocked it.
Unreal. So I'm working on a full Derek White blocks of the year video, and I just spent all this morning. I watched every block of the season, and I just sat there in disbelief, just shaking my head how did he do any of this? So beautiful stuff.
Chrome Dome Derek, who knew just how awesome he would be? Now, we've got plenty more awards to get to, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. March is over, but the biggest moments of college basketball tip off in the month of April. Be a part of the action on Prize Picks for both men's and women's college basketball and get Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can even make the play-in rounds seem interesting since we all know the Celtics won't be there. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. Personally, I'm looking at Derek White more on points because they are criminally low, and we all know Derek White is going to come up big in the postseason. So download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100.
Prize Picks, download, sign up, use that code CLNS for a first deposit match of $100. It's a great deal. You can supplement your game viewing experience by choosing less or more on a variety of different picks. Spoonie, Jake, and I have been doing a similar thing between the three of us. Sorry, Spoonie, I didn't tee you up for this promo before the show, but this is for the second time in a row. But varying success, which is part of the fun. I know I went PP more than points on our first matchup and failed miserably. It was the one game during March for Peyton Pritchard where he fell well and truly short of. I think it was only 11.5, less or more, and he was well and truly less on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we should do it for tomorrow night's games for sure. We went 0-3, so not a great start to the first of the floor prize pick.
Yeah, use responsibly.
Yeah, but hey, nobody can be made fun of. Nobody costs us money. We all cost each other money, or me money, apparently. So 0-3, not a great start, which means we're due, boys. We're going to win some money tomorrow. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. All right. The Phil Pressey Award for We Didn't See You Much, but it was fun when we did. The nominees are Jordan Walsh, Delano Banton, Svi Mihailuk, Jaden Springer, and Lamar Stevens. Remember that guy. And the winner is... It is one... Jordan Walsh! Jordan Walsh is the winner! We didn't see you much,
He's done
but
it.
it was fun when we did. He really ran away with this award. 68.4% of the votes. Walshy, we knew we were going to love this guy the moment he was drafted. Clearly, everyone who voted on these awards, nearly 200 of them, felt exactly the same way. Didn't see a lot of Jordan Walsh this season, Spoonie, but boy, it was fun when we did.
Well, I mean, look, so I came up with this award. I almost named it the Jordan Walsh Award for too much.
May as well.
Yeah. But look, we've talked about it a lot. There's just something really fun about this athletic freak second round pick that you just have no idea what he could be. And he just shows these weird flashes that are super fun. We've done it on underrated plays, the greatest cuts we've ever seen in NBA history.
Right.
One of the sweetest free throw makes I've ever seen. I mean, it barely touched the bottom of the net. It was so smooth. He missed the first one, but that's okay. We got room for improvement. So
Warm up.
Walsh is really fun. He's got that frantic energy on the defensive end that I think can really translate. Almost like a young Marcus Smart. That first year of Smart, it took him until the end of the season to really direct that energy in the right way. And he was going crazy against the Cavs in that first round playoff series that we got swept. Walsh can be that guy, but he's 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's just an interesting prospect that we have no other prospects, right, too, so there's extra attention on him, and it's just fun. We just want him to be successful. It's a good time, and the Garden's in on it too, which I think is the best part.
Oh yeah.
If I was gonna, how many minutes do you think Jordan Walsh played this year? If you had to guess,
Not
I'm
nearly
pretty
enough.
money at this. 75.
Spoonie has been on fire, so Ben, take that with a grain of salt. There you go.
I'll say 55.
83 gone over.
Spoonie.
Spoonie's been on fire. He was 1 minute off the O'Shea Brissett minute guess, which was 599 when he guessed 600. He has been cooking on minute guesses lately. But yeah, I think he absolutely encapsulates the award. Didn't see you much, 83 minutes for an entire season, but when we did, it was absolutely electric. If Svi Mihailuk didn't have a vendetta against Jordan Walsh, maybe we would have gotten a few more buckets from Jordan Walsh. But yeah, this was a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, runner-up was Svi Mihailuk. Unsurprisingly, maybe the most athletic 14th guy on the bench in the entire league, just getting up head over the rim on multiple occasions for
Recency bias.
ridiculously.
Yeah.
Sure. I think maybe was it the preseason that he double pumped a
Yeah.
reverse alley-oop
Yeah.
attempt? And I fell in love from that moment onwards, and it's been amazing ever since. All right, let's get to the next award.
No, hold on.
Okay,
Ben, sorry.
Whoop. Spoiler.
Who voted for Jaden Springer? Come on.
we got
You
twelve
like
people
votes
love
for
him,
Jaden
jumpers?
Springer.
All right,
People love
fair
Jaden
enough.
Springer.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, he's
Sorry, go
sturdy.
ahead.
He's sturdy, man.
All right, we're ready for the next award. The most Vibiest Player Award, the Blake Griffin Award for most Vibiest Player. The nominees are Namias Cater, Latvian Moses. This is one we allowed people to add their own nominations. So Latvian Moses, aka Kristaps Porzingis, got a couple of nominations. Joe Jitsu, Kristaps Porzingis, O'Shea Brissett, and Luke Cornett. And without any further ado, the winner of the Blake Griffin Most Vibiest Player Award goes to Luke Cornett.
There we go. Big dog.
The Eclipse, the Big Cornet. I don't know. I'm missing out on his nicknames. Big Bird.
The Cornish
Cornet
Game
negative,
Head.
Cornish Game Hen. Thank you.
There we go.
Really being Cornet positive since the
Yes.
All-Star break. A deserved award for easily the most Vibiest player on this roster in lieu of Blake Griffin, who unfortunately and sadly retired from the game of basketball recently. Maybe we can get to some Blake Griffin clips before we wrap this one up, guys. But Cornet, he's got the sellies. He's got the amazing post-game interviews. He's got the lemon squares in the locker room, the corn hub. Thanks, Troy, in the chat, and Jamie D in the chat. He's just a consummate vibesman. I don't know. What else can you say, Spoonie?
Dude, he stole my heart as a massive nerd who I tweeted about a fantasy series I'm about to finish, and it feels like I'm going to dinner with one of my best, like the last dinner, like my best friend is moving away to Seattle, and it's like our last dinner before he leaves, and like this is the last book of the fantasy series. That's how when Luke Cornett was photographed with the Lord of the Rings on the steps somewhere like Philadelphia or something, and it's like, this is just so goofy. It looks ridiculous. He looks like a sophomore in college. He's trying to like look interesting to women or something like that. You know, it's like, I read, you want to go for coffee sometime? But Cornett's
He's got the deep quotes.
He's got the super deep quotes. And like every interview, he's just got like that dry sense of humor, very Blake Griffin. So love Cornett, and he hooped the shit out of the ball this year. Like, he absolutely hooped starting like 3-4 months. Like, he was terrible to start the season, then he figured it out, and that makes it that much more fun.
My favorite moment from Cornett this year was definitely the Pacers game in Indiana. The Celtics couldn't make a free throw to save their lives, and Luke Cornett got fouled, went to the line, knocked one down, and started doing the ice in my veins celebration in the middle of doing the free throws, and actually he turned the game, he turned the free throw luck, and that was incredible. But I mean, I voted for Kristaps Porzingis, and I think Luke, I thought he met expectations. I thought we kind of knew he was a vibesman coming in. And with Blake being gone, you know, that's kind of Cornett's role at the end of the bench there. But Kristaps Porzingis coming in and providing the level of vibes that he did for everyone, both on court and off court, I think is actually low-key very important and actually had impact on the overall success of the team. Like, him coming in and becoming best friends with Jalen, him, you know, going into the crowd and high-fiving dudes like after he, you know, has a block. Like, he legitimately... no one's ever had more fun in the span of 6 months than Kristaps Porzingis has had since coming to Boston. Like, the amount of winks per minute this guy was averaging this season. Yeah. The Derek White kiss. Oh my God. Still jealous. But yeah, I think
Winks per minute.
yeah, I think KP for me. DJ Daniel in the chat here has got my back on this one. So yeah, KP
Leads
for
the
me.
league in WPM.
Off the charts. Yeah. 100th percentile in WPM. Look, just while we're on the subject of the most Vibiest players, let's just get to this very quickly in memoriam of one Blake Griffin.
He gets one from White. Now he gives it to White. Throws to the Blake Griffin throws it down.
That clip has been sitting dormant in our StreamYard account for well over a year now, so very glad to be able to click that button again. All right, let's get to the Marcus Smart No Yes Award, the nominees for which are Jaylen Brown, Svi Mykhailiuk, Xavier Tillman, and Drew Holiday. The winner is... It's Drew Holiday, winner of the No Yes Award. Named after one Marcus Smart, who used to chuck up his fair share of no yes shots. Drew Holiday, this is maybe a nod to the Drew earlier in the season, who was still etching out his role in the team on both ends, but obviously we're speaking offensively here. He would dribble down the court with so many passing opportunities and options available to him and just chuck up ill-advised shot after ill-advised shot. Obviously held a pretty decent percentage, which again climbed as the season went on as he found his role. But earlier on, he had his fair share of no yes shots. So he is the winner of this award. There are some other runner-ups, which we'll get to. Some pretty close ones here. Some pretty notable names there in the list. But what do you guys think of the outcome of this award?
This is definitely one of the more split awards, and I think Drew Holiday's season was almost like a no yes. It was like we had to go through the no yes early in the year, and then we eventually figured out that it's a yes, because on pull-up three-point shots this year, 39.3%. So of all players that took at least 2 3-point pull-ups per game this season, Drew was 6th in the NBA in three-point percentage. Like that's just a straight-up yes. And we just had to... We've got a lot of kind of emotional baggage when it comes to the pull-up three in general. You add that to the Marcus Smart element. Like, I think it makes sense that we were struggling with it. But now when he takes them, I'm just like, yep, they're out of the... Look, they still come out of rhythm sometimes, but pull-up threes that come out of rhythm that go in are backbreaking for the opponent because, like, there's nothing you can do to defend them. So if you feel kind of helpless when they go in. So if you're going to knock them down at a high rate, then take them, baby. Let's go.
Okay, so Drew shot 43% from three. Like, yeah, okay. I think you're right, Ben. Early season Drew Holiday, we were like, what the hell's going on? And I think we had compared Marcus Smart to him for so long that we just kind of convinced ourselves he was Marcus Smart, but he's just such a much better shooter than Marcus Smart. I voted for Jaylen because Jaylen took some insane threes. Like, some of these pull-ups he was taking were nuts, and he would, like, when he was hot, he would bury them. Like, those, like, weird, like, oh, he's crossed half court, and he takes, like, a jab step and then pulls up, and then he would sink it from, like, 27 feet. Jaylen still shot 35% on pull-ups this year, which is, like, totally fine. So there's not a lot of guys on this roster that are no guys because everybody can make shots. So I think this is a tough award. But I get it with Drew in some ways. But yeah, to your point, Jake, like, Drew just made too many shots to win this award. So that's why I voted for Jaylen Brown, because he did not make quite enough shots to be a or rather just a straight up no. I guess he's a no yes guy in that way. Sorry, I'm losing it, boys. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, everyone, it all turned out to be pretty well yes by the end of the season. Everyone delivered on that front, particularly PP. 41.3% of the vote Drew Holiday got, but yeah, first runner-up Jaylen Brown got 34.2% of the vote of being second place for the No Yes award, attributed to one Marcus Smart. Let's get to the next award, the Celtics Killer Award, the Ish Smith Celtics Killer Award.
Yes.
This is one where we allowed people to nominate or add extra nominees. There are many. I'll read off a few. TJ McConnell, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Pat Bev, Dean Wade, Jokic again, DeJounte Murray, Peyton Watson, Austin Reeves, Aaron Nesmith, the city of Atlanta. There are so many, but there can only be one winner, and the winner is one Dean Wade of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
I think an obvious winner for this one. He just killed the shit out of us in that one game where we were up, 20-something points, fourth quarter. Then it's the Dean Wade show. The Dean Wade show, rather. Sorry, I've got a slight echo in my ear, and it's completely messing up my ability to talk clearly. But that's a story for another day. Dean Wade, guys, this year's Ish Smith Celtics Killer Award winner. Jake, this one kind of wrote itself, right? It's a pretty easy choice.
This is an easy one. I went back and looked at the game because I just wanted to like remember how insane it was relative to the context of that game, but also for his season. So 23 points on 8 for 11 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3. 23 points was his highest point total of the season. He had 20 points in the fourth quarter, 7 for 7 from the field, 5 for 5 from 3. Tied for most 3-point makes with one other game when he was 6 for 8 from 3. That is insane, dude. 5 for 5 from 3 in the fourth quarter alone. Like, that is just one of the all-time games to come from a nobody, really. Not a nobody, but like just like a. I mean, it's Dean Wade. It's Dean Wade, dude.
He's a nobody, Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
on. He's a nobody.
I don't know. Cleveland fans love Dean Wade. So I'm
Now they do because he killed us.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's for damn sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Dean Wade, easy vote for me, and it's just off one game. Like Jokic, guys like that,
Sure.
like they can't be Celtics killers because they kill everybody. You know what I mean? Bogey Bogdanovich is a pretty good one, and that was a write-in vote. So I think, he's a decent one, but Dean Wade was just so random, so fucking stupid, and it was such a dumb loss that loss is gonna stick in our brains for years. You know what I mean? It's gonna be the Dean Wade game. So he's just a great winner for this award. Hopefully he doesn't keep it going. He's not Ish Smith, and he's gonna torture us for 15 years.
Second round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, don't say it, please. But yeah, great. Yeah, the Dean Wade Award. Give it to him.
Actually, the most important injury of the playoffs is that Dean Wade's status is questionable going into the playoffs. So
Huge, massive factor.
yeah.
We may now win the championship. All right, let's move on. The Philadelphia 76ers Award for the most hateable franchise in the league. Many nominees for this one. But again, there can only be one winner. And this year, the fans voted in and they chose the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
This year's most hateable franchise, deservedly so, largely thanks to their fans on Twitter and Reddit, and just the annoying way that anyone associated with the Milwaukee Bucks carries themselves, particularly online. Spoonie, do you agree with the result of this award?
Yeah, I voted for the Bucks. I think they were just good enough to be annoying. And like they're so obviously a paper tiger in a lot of ways, but they'd win a big game against Oklahoma City and all of a sudden they're back, baby. Oh, Dame time. Oh, point to the watch. And they beat us twice, which was really, really unfortunate. So yeah, it's got to be the Bucks. Their fans have turned insufferable because of that one kind of Mickey Mouse-ish championship. So I mean, like, the Sixers, Embiid got hurt, and that's why they're out of this. I feel like if Embiid was healthy and they were the second best team in the East, it would easily be the Sixers fans. But for now, it's the Bucks.
Yeah, I think for me it was easily the Bucks because it was so frustrating all year long how many media members, how many big podcast people that were talking about the NBA, talking about the Celtics, talking about the Bucks, were just ignoring all of their glaringly obvious issues and completely hand-waving them away. Whereas if it was the Celtics, they'd be like, see, they're completely flawed. There's no chance they can win a title. But week in, week out, despite every month them having like a teens net rating, Dame looking washed, Middleton being injured and looking washed, their whole roster looking old, like month in, month out, it'd be like, yeah, but playoffs, different thing. Like just completely hand-waving all of their issues all year long. That was what the most frustrating thing to me is like, if you wanted to say like, hey, maybe they get lucky and they win, sure. But just to be like, yeah, I think they could just do it. And we're going to ignore all of their issues drove me nuts.
Yeah, Nathan Marzian on Twitter is like a notable Bucks Twitter guy saying, okay, now it's the playoffs. Wipe the slate clean. Wipe away everything you learnt during the regular season. The playoffs are a different time. And I'm like, are we supposed to do that as well? We just won 64 games in dominant fashion. Are we supposed to wipe away our regular season as well and just not take that into account for the context of the postseason? I don't think that's how it works. So it's quite convenient of a mindset there of the Bucks fans, hence why they won this award. We've got 2 awards to get to before we wrap up here. The Nick Gelso Award for Best CLNS Personality. Again,
amazing.
Many write-in nominees, literally hundreds of nominees, and thanks to everyone who voted in. But again, there can only be one winner. Drumroll, please. The winner of the 2024 CLNS Best Personality goes to Jack Simone and Sam LaFrance of the How About Them Celtics podcast. This one was tight. Congratulations to these two as they make their way to the stage to accept their award. Michelle Obama, very, very happy with the results of this one. Congrats to those two. Look, I was happy to see these guys win the award. Obviously, huge fan of the How About Them Celtics podcast. I think a huge catalyst for us starting this show was Jack chiming in here in the chat. Was to bring something to the forefront of Celtics podcasting where not only were we analytical about the team, but the emotional aspect of fandom was well conveyed and sort of professionally conveyed via a high-quality product, and I think we do a good job of that. Jack and Sam do a similarly amazing job at that, but they're there in Boston with the team in the press room, making regular contact with personnel from the Celtics, which just takes this whole thing to a whole nother level. So I was really glad to see those guys come out with this award. Thoughts, and would you throw in any additional CLNS nominees as runner-ups in this one, guys?
Real quick. Okay, so we had write-ins, right?
Yeah.
Jake got votes. Ben got votes. Well
we all
deserved. I did not. That's fine. Except the problem is that my mom listens to this show. What the fuck, Mom? You couldn't even vote for me? Come on. You can't give me one. I called her. I was like, Mom, what the hell? She's like, I voted for Jake. And I'm like, all right, I get it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good.
No, Jack
Shout
and
out, Mrs.
Sam.
Mooney.
Jack and Sam rule. They're great. Their show's awesome. Their pregame show is amazing. That well deserved. Shout out Xanis was up in the voting. I'm surprised. I feel like if you like our show, maybe you're not a Xanis guy, but that's good to go.
He's a popular guy.
Yeah.
That's right. I loved it. Bobby Manning got votes. I mean, me personally, I would never. I wish we could have split Sam and Jack apart because me and Jack have been feuding over the Xavier Tillman 3-point situation now. And yeah, I would
Michelle Obama.
I would never vote for someone with such outrageous takes about Xavier Tillman's 3-point willingness. But I will say someone else that got a lot of single votes that would have added up to it. A real percentage was Noah, who's new on the beat this year, who has been incredible. Yeah, so she would have gotten a bigger slither than the graph is showing because a few people just typed it in differently. Mm-hmm. So she's been awesome. And then obviously the funniest submission was Jared Zero. So shout out Jared Zero.
Shout out Jared Zero.
I hope he
Twitter
finds,
legend.
Yeah,
The immortal.
I hope he finds a new couch to podcast from soon.
Bobby Manning walking away with a nice chunk of awards there as well.
Sure.
To the shout out to everyone who was nominated. Pretty much everyone who works for CLNS or under the CLNS umbrella, except for Wayne Spoonie, got a nomination in that one. So get your minds right, people, and vote for Spoonie this time next year. Okay. We've got one award remaining.
At least my mom better.
That's right. This whole Spoonie family really better get on that for next year.
It's true.
The final award, the best award, you might say, the Aaron Baines Corner 3 Award for Most Surprising Skill Set. Again, pages upon pages of write-in nominations for this one. The winner, however, is O'Shea Brissett's offensive rebounding. I think an unsurprising runaway winner on this one, got 36.8% of the overall vote. And I'm scrolling through pages and pages of nominations here. So for it to get 37% of all of those votes is quite outstanding and a very surprising skill set. I think you can safely say that Brissett came in, first couple of possessions of his first minutes on the court and just started vacuuming up like a spaceship, getting access to a newly opened spaceship. Wow, I just completely butchered that analogy. Vacuuming all the air out of the vessel is O'Shea Brissett. Crashing the boards there, guys. Wow, I wish we weren't live so I could cut that out. Just an incredible and surprising skill set there, and not one that I expected with all of the great write-ups about Brissett going into the beginning of the season.
I just want to quickly point out how insane the Aaron Baines thing was so we know why he's named, this award's named after him. So in that season, 17-18 season, he was 3 for 21 for the entire season. And then in the playoffs, he was 11 for 23. So honestly, one of the most astounding things that's ever happened. And then he goes on to be a legit 3-point shooter, stretch big for the remainder of his career, going back to Australia as well. So shout out Aaron Baines. I didn't understand. I didn't look. O'Shea won. Happy for him. Well, not for me. I thought my vote. Peyton Pritchard's offensive rebounding. far more surprising and far more impactful and important for this team, in my opinion. And then also Jaylen Brown's defense, I think deserved a nod here as well. But I mean, Peyton Pritchard, I think third in offensive rebounding percentage of players 6'4" and under, behind only Gary Payton and Alex Caruso, a stat that I will be citing till I die. I think that's like just ingrained into my brain. So yeah, Peyton Pritchard's offensive rebounding for me, robbed, snubbed, ridiculous.
Dude, Jalen's left hand being second, I think, is a really great one because like he had some sick left-handed finishes this year. But I just didn't know what to expect with Brissett because I feel like I didn't watch a lot of Indy when they sucked last year. And my like memories of O'Shea Brissett are like the dude who sometimes can make threes and not get cooked on defense, but he's a fucking maniac. Like, he's nuts, dude. Like, he's like jumping over back, like very Neesmith vibes from O'Shea Brissett. So it did surprise me just like how incredibly hard he played. So, our offensive rebounding was like 6 percentage points better when O'Shea was on the court. It was like 8 when Pritchard was on the court. So, it kind of gives it, that's kind of an argument for Pritchard being the most surprising. But I think it's a deserving winner. Shout out to O'Shea. Like, he had to win something. He should have been in the Vibesman Award too. Like, he was a nice 600-minute season from O'Shea Brissett.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any bonus awards that you want to like kick off the dome here, but best vlog, O'Shea Brissett, the number 1 blog on the team. Yeah, easy. A runaway award winner for that one. But yeah, just sticking with this surprising skill set awards. So yeah, the runners up, you guys mentioned the second runner up, Jaylen Brown, or first runner up, I should say, Jaylen Brown's left hand. Second runner up is Sam Hauser's mid-range pull-up jumper, which got 17.4% of the votes.
Carmelo.
The next runner up with 9% of the votes is Xavier Tillman's corner 3-point shot, the 4th most surprising skill set on the team.
It doesn't exist.
Disgusting.
The people have spoken.
I can only imagine how many people. I'm guessing Jack Simone just created 40 accounts and voted for Tillman as many times as possible. I know. RJ in the Discord definitely voted for Tillman's 3-point shot to fuck with me as well. Yeah, just disgusting, ridiculous.
The big tea bag.
I one award that I thought coming off the dome, the Isaiah Thomas exceeded expectations award, because I think that IT in that 16-17 season, no one expected him to be a top 5 MVP finisher. Joe Mazzulla maybe, Kristaps Porzingis maybe. I think the exceeded expectations bucket, Derek White, I think falls into that basket as well. So maybe an award for next year that we just came up with.
Absolutely. All right. Well, look, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone, for voting on these awards.
Yeah, that was amazing.
This was a lot of fun. Like I said, thanks to everyone who voted on these awards. We'll make sure that we publish the results so that you can check out the runners-up and all the work and effort that went into creating the show. Thanks for watching live or listening later on the podcast feed. We'll be back live Saturday night at 8 p.m. for a round 1 preview with Dan Greenberg, a.k.a. Stool Greeny, and Barstool Sports. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celtics.
I love